Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Rod, if you're free, I have an extra ticket to the Warriors and Oil Kings game in Moose Jaw tonight, if you want to join me. I would love to, but I can't. To quote Sammy Seafood Sam, I'm busy.
How about that?
Where's Seafood Sam? Moved to Calgary. He's busy.
Yeah.
But thank you, Glenn.
Muna.
Big shots.
Sitting up there with the Russian national coach at the press conference.
Guy ran a seafood restaurant in Saskatoon, okay? His name was Seafood Sam. That was the name of the restaurant, and the Saskatoon Blades would bring him down to coach the All-Star or the intra-squad game, and he'd start brawls and...
I remember hearing the story about Daryl Lubanicki. They told the guys, no more fights. And so all of a sudden there's a fight, and then they drop the puck, and then there's another fight, and there's another.
He's coaching the intra-squad
One
game.
kid had fought 3 times, so Daryl Lubanicki said, I'm going to put an end to this. And he walks around the rink, and he comes over to the kid who's had 3 fights, and he says, what is going on around here? And the kid says, that Chinese guy keeps sending me out to beat out of that guy. So he had to go to this Seafood Sam, who was this little 5'2" Chinese fellow who owned their local restaurant.
Seafood Sam's.
And tell him to knock it off.
No more fights.
How about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Some leather-lunged New Yorker. He's cheering for the Panthers, but he's behind me, and he was making all these jokes. He's like, yeah, the Panthers are losing by a hair. You know, I heard these Florida fans are rabid, but this is ridiculous. Anyways, and then security came down. Right from everybody, because the rabbit's not hurting anybody. I was kind of hoping the rabbit would crap all over the kids.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Yes, it is. Welcome to the RP Show. We got breaking news right out of the gate that we're going to get to in moments. I feel like we're going to be a little out of order today, but that's okay. It's fun. For the television and streaming viewers, you will see a very special guest with me in the bunker. He's coming up next segment, but the Wes Cates, the Hall of Famer Wes Cates, the pride of Columbus, Ohio, is here. He's going to come up a little later on, and we got so much stuff that we're going to get to. I think the Moose, he joins us from PEI in the Canada Winter Games. Let's bring him in. Darren Moose DuPont. I feel, Moose, like you just want to sit back and listen to the Wes Cates, man. But I had to bring you on because I think this is, the only segment we're going to have you today. I'm not sure. But how are things in the lovely Maritimes?
Things are awesome. I gave you a little video tour this morning of our little space right on the water, and the sun is shining. It is great, and we're into day 5 now. I think day 4 of the competition, so things are going really well.
Okay, I'm glad to hear you say that everything's great because it's so cold here, and people need to understand something. I've got my Atlanta hoodie on, bunny hug as we say here in Sask. How cold is it, Rod? Well, you have to understand, 20% of our audience is in America. It's growing daily. There's people from Florida, and Wes can back this up, I think. They're adults. They've never left the state of Florida. So they quite regularly ask, in their life, they've never left Florida. Why would you? I get it. But I had to take my van, Moose, to a heated underground garage today just to thaw out. My laptop was in my briefcase for the afternoon in my vehicle. When I got home and plugged it in, it wouldn't work. Doesn't surprise you, Wes. You've lived here long enough, the pride of Columbus, Ohio. It's so cold. I saw a squirrel holding his nuts up against a heater.
Boom.
Yeah. So Wes Cates coming up, Sam Cosentino, and from The Athletic, Ian Mendes. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please, Director Jordan?
How about that?
That's still working. We're going to start with the NHL, and I have to remind myself, this is not SportsCenter. This is a talk show, and we're going to get into stuff with Wes that had nothing to do with what went on last night in sports. But I want to tell you, Connor McDavid reached 800 career points and scored his 43rd and 44th goals as the Oilers beat Philly 4-2. You didn't see it, Darren, but I thought my buddies Joaquin Gage and Bob Stauffer were going to come to blows on the intermission on the Oilers broadcast. I actually DM Gager, and I said, sucker him! And he goes, waiting for the PPV, the pay-per-view. Joaquin Gage and Bob Stauffer. All is great in Oilerland. And again, McDavid got his 800th. Leo Draisaitl got his 700th. And they didn't know what they were going to do with the puck. I've seen this. Have you cutting the puck in half and giving half to each guy? You must have seen that. That's what I think they ended up doing. They were seen leaving the Oilers dressing room holding the puck together. Isn't that cute? So, fun times in Edmonton. They avoided their 5th straight loss, and they may make an appearance in the NHL top 5, bottom 5 later on. In Buffalo, how about this one? Your Leafs. I turned that one on. I'm all horny to watch this game. I turn it on. It's 4-0 Toronto before we even sat down. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Wasn't even a game.
I got a little bit. I had to watch it in the highlights, but I was following, getting the updates, and they're all excited because Ryan O'Reilly gets the hat trick and Mitch Marner 5 assists. So that seems to be working out, and they found a little magic there. So good sign for the Leafs.
Yes. I'm trying to find the YouTube feed. I got busy here visiting with Wes, and I'm not all ready to go, but that's okay. I can't get to any viewer comments. I'm just wondering if we'll hear from Jenna in Southern California, who every time the Sabres win, she's blowing up my Twitter mentions. She's pretty quiet last night. In Washington, Pius Suter scored twice. Robert Hagg ended a 75-game goal drought, and Detroit beat Washington 3-1. In Tampa, Nick Paul had the first of 4 Tampa Bay goals in a span of 5:55 in the second period. Braden Point, former Warrior, scored his 200th NHL goal, and the Lightning dealt Anaheim their 6th straight loss, 6-1. In Chicago, Tyler Johnson scored the lone goal in a shootout, giving Chicago a 3-2 win over Vegas, and it's the Blackhawks' 3rd straight win, and stop the presses. Do they not understand? They're supposed to be losing. And we're going to talk about this later on in the top 5, bottom 5, Darren, but prove to me that tanking happens. Chicago's won 3 in a row. San Jose is yet to deal off their parts, but they will. Nobody's tanking. Anaheim's lost 6 in a row, so they know what they're doing.
That's the game I watched last night, was the Vegas-Chicago game. And I'm like, no, clearly they're not tanking. Less than a minute to go. They could have mailed it in, down 1 goal, but Patrick Kane comes down, they score, and then Patrick Kane almost won it with the slap shot of the top corner that just, didn't beat the buzzer, and then they won it in the shootout. So, no, these players want to win every time they're on the ice. The coaches want to win, too. I understand if the GMs don't, but there's no tanking happening.
Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in. I got the comments. Nelson wants to know, or he says, isn't it awful trying to watch sports on the East Coast? It's a struggle. But you know what? When it's minus 38 here, I'm willing to put up with the struggle and get up in the morning and catch the scores on SportsCenter. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to stop with the NHL stuff. There's a couple things here. BW in Edmonton says, how cold? It's so cold in Winnipeg. How cold is it? The ice are moving west to Chilliwack. I need to point something out. I plugged in my U.S. phone, turned it on, and had a text from somebody in Winnipeg who seems a little miffed that I reported the ice are moving to Chilliwack, that the team's going to be sold, a sale forced, and the team's going to move from Winnipeg to Chilliwack, British Columbia. And I'm like, you've been around this game a long time. If it's not true, you got nothing to worry about. But can you imagine those poor guys and gals in that organization with the Winnipeg Ice not knowing if the team's going to be staying in Winnipeg or not? I will say this to him over the television. I'm not the problem, okay? If the owner had lived up to his promise and started a new rink or built a new rink by now 4 years later, we're not having this discussion, so don't come at me. But are you hearing? I'll hear more tonight because I'll be at the Regina Medicine Hat game. I'll be on the Tigers radio broadcast tonight. And I'll hear more from the hockey people tonight. But this is just what I'm hearing. It's the buzz, man. The airwaves are full of them at every league, right?
They are. And, the buzz, obviously I'm buried in this, and I'm not getting the Western Hockey League buzz here in Atlantic Canada. But in this situation, and it's not even you need to have the rink built, even if you promised it. The league just needs to be confident that you're still going to live up to your word, even if you're late on and behind schedule, and that there's any sign of it. The problem is there's no sign of it ever being built. Like, no sign. Like, there's less sign of this than there is of a CFL expansion in Atlantic Canada. That has more of a chance, it feels like.
Again, don't come at me. I'm just reporting what I heard, and I'm not the problem here. And I will say one last thing on the NHL. Adam Beckman. You remember Adam Beckman, the very handsome young hockey player from Saskatoon who starred for the Spokane Chiefs. He had his first goal in the NHL denied last night for the Minnesota Wild because the LA Kings called it back on a review for offside. And I'm like, Todd McClellan, the coach of the LA Kings, he's from Melville. He played for the Blades. Can you not just let this slide? So I know Adam Beckman's going to have to wait, Musa. He's been on this show, if you remember Adam Beckman, during the pandemic. So that was a bit of a heartbreaker. Pausing the breaking news that I mentioned. McLeod Bethel Thompson, the quarterback of the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, lovingly known as Macbeth, has made his decision, and he is going to the United States Football League, and he will not be returning to the Toronto Argonauts. We discussed this here last week, Friday, with the voice of the Argos, Mike Hogan, about what was taking Macbeth so long to make his decision. He was the Aaron Rodgers of the Canadian Football League, just holding everybody up. Well, today we learn he's going to the USFL, and Wes is going to address that. He's shaking his head right now, but I don't know why. There's a cliffhanger. We'll see what Wes thinks about the Hall of Famer, McLeod Bethel Thompson. So now it's Chad Kelly time in Toronto, which is maybe what they wanted all along. Back to hockey. Our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is this. Now, who's Canada's best NHL team? The poll for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. The last I saw, like, your options are the Toronto Maple Leafs, Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, Winnipeg Jets. And just so you know, we did this poll, Moose, about 10 days ago? And the Leafs won skating away, if you will. The Oilers won skating away with over 60% of the vote. Leading the way now, the Toronto Maple Leafs, based on one trade, but a pretty big trade. So people can vote on that for the next 24 hours. But are Leaf fans getting ahead of themselves by chance or no?
Well, they're getting excited because every time there's a move made or somebody steps up that isn't Mitch Marner or Austin Matthews or William Nylander or John Tavares, they think, okay, this is what we were needing. This is the missing piece to get us over the ledge here, or whatever you want to call it, and over the hill. And there might be there. It might be Ryan O'Reilly. They're probably getting too excited too early, but as of right now, they're the best team in Canada. The Oilers, just lost 4 in a row before the win, so they're not the best team in Canada. The Jets would be in that conversation too, but yeah, this trade has made the Leafs really, they're all in right now. Kyle Dubas and this group on an expiring contract, they're all in.
Interesting from the viewers. The account is Huge Benno. I'm not sure who this guy is, but he writes it. He says, "Hey, RP, love the show as always. Have to drive to Calgary this weekend to check out the Saddle Dump and the Trash Flames."
Sounds like an Oiler fan.
Yeah, right. He goes, "My annual Benno Mania trip isn't off to a good start. Hashtag pray for Benno." Aren't the Flames on the road? They're at Arizona tonight, and I think they're going into Vegas. But I'll trust you if that's where you're going this weekend. I know where I'm going this weekend. Florida. So, yeah, I'll pray for you, Benno, but why are you doing that? Life's about choices. I don't know what to say. You're going to Calgary, he's complaining about it. Then don't go! Rich in Edmonton, by the way, as I said, the Oilers avoided a 5th straight loss. Rich goes, all of those 4 Oiler losses were either an overtime or a shootout. Loser points. Yeah, but they're not happy with that. But again, he's always going to defend the Oilers. You're always going to defend your team. It is what it is. I'm going to do the top 5, bottom 5 later on, Darren. Not now. Okay. What else do I have here? From the NBA, here come the Hawks. News out of Atlanta. And what Wes doesn't know is, since the last time we saw him, we're on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE Daily. Shout out Ryan O'Radio, who's opping the board down there and runs the whole darn show. The Atlanta Hawks fired coach Nate McMillan, who was unable to follow up on the success of leading the team to the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals. General manager Landry Fields announced the firing Tuesday night. The Hawks are 29-30, 8th in the East. Now, that's not terrible, but Darren, we've been following the Hawks all year long. Everybody knows that watches this show. Hashtag true to ATL. They're an underachieving team with some of the best players in the NBA, right? Trae Young leading the way among them. So we'll see if it spurs them. But just so they know in Atlanta, we're following what's going on with the Hawks. Not as much the Falcons, but definitely the Hawks. Point 5 is the Blue Jays. I'm not going to get into what I have here because we don't have time. Other than there's a story on the wire about Alek Manoah and his new teammate Chris Bassett. They've become best friends at spring training. You know those stories, Wes, the training camp stories. They're actually sometimes the best stories, right? I'm into the Blue Jays, and why? 2 reasons. 1, they're going to be good, and 2, everybody around here in Western Canada is talking about the Blue Jays, man. It's nice.
I know. And out here, too. They're excited. You know, the Blue Jays are obviously on the highlights every night and stories on them throughout the day. But it's a good story. When you got a team that's contending, you understand why baseball is so big in markets like New York with the Yankees. They're always good. You know, they always got a chance. And so if the Jays can have that sustained success, they're gonna grow, and people are gonna talk about them across the country. And this is always the best time of year for that, spring training time. Remember back year 1, we got excited. We ordered hot dogs in the bunker. We watched
Spring
opening
training.
day.
Absolutely.
Like, that was really cool. So, I'm excited for the Jays.
It's just the way people are. I used to think it was just around here, but it's the way people are in general. Years ago, I used to do a daily Blue Jays report on my radio show. You might have heard of it, The Sports Cage. I put a Blue Jays update on my website daily, and this was like about 10 years ago, and people were writing in going, why are you doing that? Nobody cares about the Blue Jays. Oh, well, I care because I grew up a Blue Jays fan, but you don't care? Oh, because they're bad. Now they're winning, so all of a sudden everybody cares. Oh, okay, now we'll talk about it. You know, I used to always run around wondering what people wanted, and now I realize we'll just talk about what I want. It's what's made the show so much more interesting for the listener. As Neil Page would say. Moose, I think we're done with you. Maybe not. We'll check in later. Stay by your phone. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Later.
Live from the Canada Winter Games in Prince Edward Island, Darren Moose Dupont. Okay, you've been waiting for it. We've been teasing it. The Wes Cates joins us next. Rough Riders alum, Stampeders alum, and people want to get your thoughts and my thoughts on McLeod Bethel Thompson of the Grey Cup champion Argos jumping to the USFL and whatever other football topics come up. We're live on Game Plus Television, live streaming on YouTube and on the radio. WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time. Big time.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models, GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse is a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, here we go. 902-518-3033 is the number to text into the studio. We are in the bunker here in the sweatpants capital of the world. IKS Media. Let's bring him in here. Not Darren DuPont, my co-host now, Wes Cates. What are you laughing at over there?
You in the sweatpants capital, there are a lot of sweatpants roaming around Saskatchewan on any given day, right?
You guys got the mic working? I can't hear him.
No?
Is it just me? It's good now.
It's good.
Okay, I can't hear him very well, but if you guys are happy with it, I'm happy with it. Okay, we got a lot of things to get to. Second all-time leading rusher in Saskatchewan Roughriders history, the pride of Columbus, Ohio. Who else is famous from Columbus, Ohio?
Columbus? Buster Douglas. Beat Mike
Come
Tyson.
on! The fighter.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's probably a little-known fact, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Wes Cates and Buster Douglas. He wanted, before we get to the football, this is awesome. Great guy over here. He wanted to chime in on the hockey talk.
Yeah.
So you go ahead, man. You've been in Canada long enough.
Yeah, we started off talking about Connor McDavid, and I was like, oh, another Connor Bedard, playing in Regina, and we're talking about teams tanking. My Blue Jackets are at the bottom of the league. They're about to make a turn, though, for the better soon. But they could be the team to get Connor, and I'm actually going to go watch Bedard play this Friday. So I'm excited to see maybe he'll be the guy that sparks the turn around for the Columbus Blue Jackets. If I don't know, there's probably half of the listeners don't even know Columbus has a hockey team. But,
I'm shocked you do, and you're from there. But I got walk it by. I'm getting excited to be with Wes. I have to remind myself, it's not SportsCenter. This is a talk show. It's not SportsCenter. We talk about fun things. And I will just say this. There's a guy in town that does jerseys. Prints them, puts the name on the back. His name's Torchy Simpson. And he used to be the Pats trainer. Now he opened his own business. He said these Bedard jerseys, by far the most he's ever done. And Darian Durant jerseys, Weston dressed by even Cates. Have you seen anything ever like this hype over a 17-year-old Connor Bedard?
I don't really understand it. All I know is that he was already hyped up, and then all of a sudden the juniors happened, and they were like, oh, this just solidifies even more that he's just that much better. But he's a kind of small kid, so yeah. I'm like, is he that nice with the stick? Like,
that's what it is.
Yeah, he's just that great on the skates and that nice with the stick handling, huh? I mean, I really want to see it pan out, but you know, size matters in professional sports, and he seems a little slight in stature. Maybe he'll hit a growth spurt. But I mean, obviously there's guys that are that caliber in the league and have, the goons protect them and all that good stuff. So we'll see how it works out for the kid.
They say he's going to be.
Especially if he goes to the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't, because I've said we'll never hear of his name again if he goes to Columbus. Sorry. Jen from the Four Seasons writes in, and let me just say, she goes, are you going to the Pats game tonight, Roddy? Wiener Wednesday. Yes, I'll be there. 2-for-1 hot dogs in the Brand Center. Now we move to football. McLeod Bethel Thompson, pretty big name, spent a long time in the NFL, won a Grey Cup with the Toronto Argonauts last season, but was on the bench, on the sideline, when Chad Kelly, Jim Kelly's nephew, marched the ball down the field for the winning points for the Toronto Argonauts. McLeod has made the decision. There it is on the screen. He's going to the New Orleans Breakers of the United States Football League. As you're an analyst, you're on the radio here with Rough Rider Radio, Wes. So what do you think about this move?
I mean, how much are the QBs making down there? I
Less than 100,000, probably.
Yeah, that's why I don't get it. I mean, I'm just kind of like well, I guess maybe he didn't feel like his spot was solidified with the Argos, but I just feel like once you get to a certain point in your career, it's kind of like just stability and, you know what I mean, just being able to know where you're going to be and not bouncing around and kind of trying to, grow some roots and think about life after football starts to be a factor. So clearly, how old is he now? I mean, clearly
he got all the questions, Wes.
I just feel like he's older than he's acting younger than his age, I guess, with some of these decisions he's making.
He's a husband. He's a father. He's 34. You were done by 34.
Way done.
But you were a running back.
Way done. I was 3 years out. Yeah. I made it to my 30s, though. Proud of that.
As a back, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, Wes and I go way back to 2007, actually, when you came in a trade from the Calgary Stampeders for Rob Lazio, a trade which, frankly, worked out for both teams. The Stamps fans would know this watching in Calgary right now. But I said to Wes, do you wish there was an XFL and a USFL when you played?
Yeah. I said, hell yeah. Actually, there was. The XFL came in. So I graduated from college in 2001. The XFL, I think their inaugural season was 2001. Then they folded the next year. So I would have been in that second year or that second season more than likely because I almost went to the NFL. So it was clear that I was probably going to get a chance in the XFL. And it just didn't work out. And then I kind of bounced around training, looking for, a chance in arena leagues and things of that nature. Played 1 year of arena in 4 years and then found my way finally up here to the CFL. It kind of happened right on time because I was in some good shape, and then it worked out with me signing on with the Stamps. But, yeah, the XFL, more opportunities you have, the more chances you can get into a good organized sport and put your film out there, the better chance that you're going to get to play at the highest level. And I think that I'm glad that the XFL kind of is back for that reason.
Everything happens for a reason. I never would have met you otherwise. And stop the presses. I just Googled famous people from Columbus, Ohio. Get out of here with Buster Douglas and Wes Cates. You know Beverly D'Angelo's from Columbus, Ohio, the wife from National Lampoon's Vacation?
Oh,
Ellen Griswold.
She popped up first. All right, damn. Come on, Columbus. No,
I had no idea. There are more.
That tracks
in the sports world. Yourself, Buster Douglas, but no, Beverly D'Angelo. Stop the presses. Ellen Griswold. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of, there's people like Marilyn Manson. He's from Ohio.
I wouldn't be admitting that.
I know. We're all over the board, the Ohio people, man. You watch your back, but you need us as friends.
If you're watching in Ohio, by the way, right now live, shoot us a text, please, 902-518-3033. I think you're realizing, Wes, that it's a big show.
Hey, the greatest comedian in the world, Dave Chappelle, lives in Ohio. That's got to tell you something.
There's a difference between being from there and living there.
You choose to go where good people are. Why else would you go to Ohio unless there's good people there? Come on, it's like
I'm
cold.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Buckeye Cable carries Game Plus television all across Ohio. That's where I became familiar with the 3 C's. Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Columbus.
Yeah, buddy.
And why is it that so many people leave? Trevor Harris is from Ohio, which would actually be a pretty good segue here to get back on track. But
I think that we have good like we have a lot of colleges there, good education system, a lot of good genes coming out of Ohio, but we aspire to be more. So then we go and venture off to the big cities and make our mark.
Do you ever envision a day that, because your wife's from Calgary, we've had this long had this discussion, but I've never asked where you think you'll end up.
Yeah.
Have you had that thought?
I've thought about every winter. I think about where I'm, where I think I'm end up, because I'm like, man, can I really do Saskatchewan winters for the rest of?
I know I can't.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of places, and my family's starting to spread out all over the U.S. But I'd like to be a snowbird and kind of stay around Regina in the summers, and then maybe live somewhere southern in the winter. I got family in Cali. I got family in Florida, Atlanta. I got a few cousins out there. So, yeah, there's some options, but maybe it'll end up back in Ohio.
Hey, it's a wonderful spot in the summer, but man, I had to take my vehicle and park it underground in a heated garage just for an hour today to thaw it up. It makes a hell of a difference. But anyways, in the time we have left with Wes, Trevor Harris, one of the biggest names, and he's an Ohio product, signing with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and people seem to think that will be the cure for what ails the green and white. Do you?
I think so. Well, we have to see how the rest. He's only one man, right? We have to see how the rest of the team pans out. But I feel like in this situation, needing to win right now, coaching staff and management being on a short leash, Trevor Harris is a guy who, one, you want a quarterback who can read defenses, understands offense, can be merged with any offensive coordinator and do okay. I think Trevor Harris is that. Also, you want a guy, I don't want a quarterback who's some great athlete that all he's going to do is hold the ball, run around, and do everything himself. I want a guy who's smart enough to know that there's other athletes out here on the field with me, and I just want to get the ball in their hands quickly. I feel like Trevor Harris is that type of quarterback. He's not a guy who's going to try to run around and get yards with his legs as much. He's going to try to run the offense and execute the offense to the best of his ability, and I think he has enough arm strength and is definitely a smart enough quarterback to get that done. So I think this situation, Trevor Harris was the best option out there, really, for a guy who's been in the CFL and understands it. I'm surprised that they couldn't bargain and get that price tag down a little bit. But no, I think it was a great signing, and that's what they had to do to have a chance at coming out of the gate strong this year.
That's why this guy's been such a successful analyst, a succinct 90-second analysis on Trevor Harris. But is he going to cut down on the fact that they're the most penalized team in the Canadian Football League? I was looking this up the other night.
He can only do so much.
Yeah.
I think if this offense gets any better, which I don't see it getting any worse, if he can move the ball and keep the other offense off the field, stay in that 20 to 25-point range, putting up on the board. I think that Jason Shivers and the defense and the mind that he is and the players that they've been able to bring in can counter that with a defense that's going to keep teams under 25, and I think that's going to lead to wins in it. And that's the type of offense that the Riders were always trying to have, is ball control, not turn the ball over, get first downs, and then put points up when they have a short field. And I think that Trevor Harris is the quarterback that can get that done.
Did you go to the Grey Cup last year?
Yes, I did. Wasn't trying to, but ended up going anyway. And I kind of knew, and I talked about this because it was this whole big thing, but Dinwiddie. So in 2007, when Dinwiddie was a quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, he went up against the Riders because Kevin Glenn got hurt, and he played in Toronto, and he lost. I thought that the football gods really owed Dinwiddie because he was in Toronto going against the Riders, or going against Winnipeg, in Regina.
With Winnipeg going against Riders, yeah.
So
I was there, I remember.
The same three franchises were involved, and I just thought that he was put into a tough situation back then. He's worked hard to become the head coach that he is, and it all worked out. Yeah.
You ended up playing with him, did you not?
Yeah, I was with him for, at least one season, maybe a season and a half. Yeah.
What a great guy.
Yeah, he's tough on his receivers, but he's just that type. He's just that great of a football mind he just expects guys to not mess up on things. So he'll bark at a receiver or two, when they messed up a route. But I knew that he was, the type of guy who knew what he was doing out there, and then maybe at times just physically wasn't able to get it done. But obviously he's a great coach. He's proven that in 2 years.
When he was hired people scoffed and said he wasn't ready, and I laughed my butt off.
Right.
Because he was 38, 39. If not now, when? Mm-hmm. And I knew he was going to be successful. You must have thought the same.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm probably a different running back than most, but I used to, have talk with the quarterbacks, Durant and Dinwiddie, a lot, and listen to how they were talking. And I'm like, these dudes, you know what I mean? I was like, Dinwiddie knows what he's talking about. It just was obvious to me that he understood the game and, given the opportunity, could create a good offense, which then he could lead a good team.
I'm going to wind it up with this, and what a great visit it's been. Glenn Erickson is watching in Medicine Hat. He's a golf guy, a hockey guy, and a Rider fan. And he says, guys, come on, Columbus, Ohio, Jack Nicklaus. I didn't know that, the Golden Bear.
I didn't
Not
know that
golf guys here. But Glenn says, and I kind of got to go back and find it here. He made a very nice comment about you. That's why I'm trying so hard to find it.
Okay.
He said, there's never been a better, here it is. I'm not sure the Rough Riders have ever had a more capable and consistent receiver out of the backfield than Wes Cates.
I'm not sure if they have either.
How about that?
I appreciate that.
I miss watching you play, though, and I watched you play with George Reed, the guy that you were going to chase for number one all-time rushing yards and never get a catch.
Yeah.
And George said that you reminded him of him. And I thought that is a pretty good compliment.
Yeah, I have an uncle that played in the CFL, and he used to say, well, my dad is his younger brother, and he used to call my dad Boom Boom, and he called me Little Boom Boom because he said, running in between the tackles, I used to punish the defense, so he used to just get a kick out of it. And my uncle played for the Stampeders in Ottawa back in the day. Larry Cates, look him up. He was a two-way player. He did a lot.
I'm writing it down. I like Big Wes better.
Yeah, I do too. I probably said now I'm going to have people trying to call me Boom Boom or something like that.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, Wes. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, always fun.
All right. Is it Ian Mendes next? Awesome. We'll be right back talking some hockey with the Athletics' Ian Mendes. Stick around. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and iHeartRadio and WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show is on the air here in hour one, but we're on the air in 31 states on Game Plus TV and WQEE Radio in Atlanta, all across Canada on Game Plus TV. And we're very excited. I didn't know this. Ian Mendes, can we bring him in from The Athletic? Everybody knows him, I would think, from TSN Ottawa fame. Hey, Ian, nice to see you. Clark says he's been trying to get a hold of you for a long time. We finally got you on the program at a great time with a couple weeks away from NHL trade deadline. I'm wondering, in your part of the world, what's it like as we get close to March 3rd?
Well, I'll tell you what, covering the Ottawa Senators, they're a team, Rod, that right now they're on the fence, right? Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? We can't quite figure out what they are. But it's been a little bit more exciting around here this season compared to previous years. At least they're kind of in the race this time around, and maybe they can talk themselves into being a buyer and not a seller. But it's certainly interesting right now, and it feels like to me that Eastern Conference race for the last wild card spot. I mean, I guess you could put Pittsburgh in the mix too, but it feels like there are basically 6 teams battling for one spot there, and it's Buffalo and Detroit and Washington, Florida, and Ottawa's there too. So it should be pretty interesting leading up to March 3rd.
I hear from our Ottawa viewers, where we're available on Rogers Cable and throughout Ontario on Cogeco too, that we don't talk about the Senators enough. And I get it, but I'm like, guys like Ian, talk about them enough for everybody. We don't have to. But going into the year, Ian, there was a tremendous amount of optimism around the hockey team. You know that. You were there. So what's the view now? What's the view now on the way it's unfolded?
Yeah, it's a great point, right? I think you can make an argument, Rod, that the Ottawa Senators were the most maybe hyped, or certainly there was the most excitement coming out of the summer, because it was the summer of Pierre. Pierre Dorion got Claude Giroux to come home. Pierre Dorion traded for Alex DeBrincat. He brought in Cam Talbot. They did all these things that I think were lined up with a win-now mentality. And then we got to November, and they kind of stumbled out of the gates like they usually do. And everyone thought, here we go again. But to their credit, December and January, Rod, they've been a plus 500, better than 500 team. They've been pretty good. It was a tough game losing to Boston, but a lot of teams have lost to Boston this year. This is a critical stretch for them. I think the feeling around them is cautiously optimistic. And we're all on the fence. And these next 4 games, they play at Carolina on Friday, at Montreal on Saturday. Then they have the rare 2 games in a row at home against Detroit. I think after those 4 games, we're going to get a better sense. Are people going to be nudged? If you're on the fence, do you move towards the more optimistic, positive side? Do you get nudged towards the negativity and the cynicism? I think we'll get the answer after these 4 games.
Tell you what, we talk about your work at The Athletic. I'm a subscriber, have been since pretty much day one, because I appreciate the quality journalism, Ian. And there's a great column there right now from Eric Duhatschek about which selling teams have the realest assets to give. And it's like it's not what you think necessarily. Like Jonathan Toews probably won't be moved now because of his health situation. And Patrick Kane only wants to go to one place. It's the Rangers. I would say that it's a worthwhile read. Is there too much buzz and conjecture out there right now about this trade deadline? Because it's hard to keep straight.
You know what? Usually, and I do think that we in the media are guilty of, the trade deadline becomes overhyped, right? And look around, the other sports don't treat the trade deadline in the same circus-like manner that we do, at least on this side of the border. But I will say this year's trade deadline does feel different. And if you think about it, Rod, we've seen big names. Bo Horvat has moved, and Vlad Tarasenko has moved, and Ryan O'Reilly has moved. And those are big names. Then we're seeing other guys like a Jake Chychrun pulled from the lineup for trade-related reasons. I don't think we've had a trade deadline this active, this early, where so many assets are moving around. Patrick Kane, you're right. It's a fascinating story. What happens to him? Does he decide to stay in Chicago and kind of cement his legacy in that town? Does he go to New York? Does he go somewhere else? It's a really interesting one. And the team that I'm the most interested in is San Jose. And they have two pieces, one in particular in Timo Meier that it feels like it's a done deal. He's going to get moved somewhere. But the other is Erik Karlsson, who is having almost a historic season on the back end. He's got a lot of term and dollars left on his deal. But could he be moved? So this is a year in which I do think the market is flooded with legitimate assets. As I mentioned, we've seen some of them move already. And I think between now and March 3rd, which is basically 8 days away, or whatever, 9 days away, I think there's going to be some more moves.
What's interesting, because I look at the goalies, and I'm a goalie guy. I was 1/M1 because I don't think you ever give that up. The only goalie available is Cam Talbot that I've seen on all the lists. How do you feel about that, and do you think he does get moved?
You're right. And look, the trade deadline isn't a time in which you often see goalies get traded, right? I think Ryan Miller got moved to St. Louis years ago for a first. And, the odd time you do see those types of trades happen, but it's pretty rare. Usually you're kind of looking for a top 4D or like a middle six winger or whatever it is. Goaltender isn't usually on the list. But I look at the teams out there, and I look at, Seattle, and I look at LA, and there's some teams that are playoff bound that I think have some question marks in goal. Cam Talbot's an interesting one because if you remember last year, Rod, he was playing so well in Minnesota. It was all systems go. And then they did make one of those rare goalie trades, right? They brought in Marc-Andre Fleury at the deadline, and Cam came to Ottawa, and I think the feeling was he was going to be the guy. And the problem has been injuries. I haven't minded the way Cam Talbot has played. It's just he's been hurt, and he should be back for Friday night in Carolina. But here's the catch-22. If Talbot plays well in these these next three games, it kind of maybe pushes Ottawa back into the playoff race, and they all of a sudden I think they hang on to Cam Talbot. If Cam Talbot struggles out of the gate here and Ottawa's out of the playoff race, well, what does this do for his trade value? This guy has just missed the last month, and now he's playing flat hockey. So it's a hard one for me to envision a scenario where Talbot gets traded before March 3rd.
Ian, we don't have a lot of time, and I have two burning questions for you. Just quickly, I meant to get into who the Stanley Cup favorites would be, and I haven't today, but I want to hear. Who do you think will be in it? Exclude the Sens, please, not the team you cover. I won't hold you to it. Who would you pick for Stanley Cup final today?
You know what? Look, I really like Carolina from day one. And I think a lot of people sleep on Carolina, and maybe it's the market, and maybe it's because Boston's having a great year, and maybe it's because Tampa and Toronto, everyone's already looking at that showdown. I like Carolina, and I like them a lot. Now, the goaltending's a little iffy, but I like Carolina. I like what Rod Brind'Amour has done with that program. In the Western Conference, I mean, the team I'd love to see is Winnipeg. I mean, who wouldn't like to see a team that a lot of us thought had passed their expiration date with that core with the Wheelers and the Scheifele's, and they bring in Rick Bowness, and we thought, wow, they're trending in the wrong direction. They've been really good. And I think the key to Winnipeg is Connor Hellebuck. And when he's playing like Vezina Trophy winning Connor Hellebuck, I like that team a lot. So you know what? I know it's an unconventional final, but give me Winnipeg, Carolina. I think I'd like to see that.
Thank you for the answer. And I just see on your Twitter, proud Carlton U journalism alum. Speaking of alum, Were you not Score alum like myself? Isn't that where you started?
No, Sportsnet. I was a Sportsnet guy before.
Boo.
Before they boo. But then Sportsnet and the Score ended up merging, kind of, right?
Yes. Right. I thought you were in that gang with us. All right, Ian, keep it up, man. Appreciate it. I love The Athletic. I really do. Great stuff there. And enjoy the run, man, because it's going to get a lot more fun.
Hey, always great to join you, Rod, anytime, and thanks for having me.
Ian Mendes, senior writer from The Athletic out of Ottawa. We'll be right back with a sports update. Audience takeover. Sammy Cosentino coming up in hour 2. We're live on Game Plus TV. The number to write in right there, 902-518-3033 with whatever is on your mind today. We're also live streaming on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and WQEE The Key.
Have you subscribed to The Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now back to the studio with Rod.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hey, tell me, have you noticed anything different? Director Jordan switched out the microphone. He says it sounds better. What is it, more resonant? It is, yay, okay. Breaking news today from the Canadian Football League. McLeod Bethel Thompson has made his decision. He is signing with the USFL's New Orleans Breakers. I applaud it. I want the best for everybody. If that's what he wants to do, good for him. Stephen in North Dakota watching, he writes and he says, greetings and hallucinations from sunny -14 Fahrenheit, Minot, North Dakota. Do you have any Macbeth lynchisms or zingers about his departure? No. Not right now. Not off the top of my head. The news isn't even an hour old. But English was my favorite subject. I don't know about you guys. How about our usual Rod Squad? What was your favorite subject? Mine was English. It's what I excelled at the most. Read Macbeth. Out, damn Spot. But you can't tie that into McLeod Bethel Thompson, so that's as good as you get. From the Western Hockey League Wednesday, Atlee Calvert. What day is it? From Tuesday in the Western Hockey League, Atlee Calvert had 2 goals and an assist as the Moose Jaw Warriors down the visiting Lethbridge Hurricanes 8-4. Bad roadie for the Canes out here. In Victoria, Nico Mijatovic had a hat trick. Scott Retzlaff earned a 21-save shutty, and the Seattle Thunderbirds scored an 8th straight victory, topping the Royals 8-0. Boy, Seattle is on a heater. Prince George, BC, Tyler Brennan's 34-save effort helped the Prince George Cougars deal the playoff-bound Portland Winterhawks their 5th straight loss, 3-1. From the Canadian Football League, this is old news. Enoch Mwamba will help the Toronto Argonauts defend their Grey Cup title. The 6'2", 230-pound linebacker capped the 2022 season in impressive fashion, winning the Grey Cup and top Canadian in the game. He is re-signed with the Boatmen. Montreal Alouettes signing defensive lineman Vincent Desjardins and receiver Jake Hardy to 1-year deals. They're both Canadian. And the Ottawa Redblacks have hired Jakeem Bradley as defensive backs coach. He spent last season in that same position with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This sports update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas, proud partners of the RP Show. 902-518-3033. I don't understand. There are people writing in with things they'd like us to talk about. You don't understand. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. It's not the You Show. What is it about this room that What is it, Clark? People seem to think they're going to tell me what to talk about on here. I'm not talking about curling. Not today. So Moose is coming in next hour, hey? Yeah. Swerve is watching in Calgary. I love the name Swerve. He writes in and says, so, Rod, were you a flop-around goalie or a butterfly style? I was a stand-up goaltender. Neither. Yeah, John in Winnipeg says, John Ohm, he says, last minute of play in hour 1. He says, rumors, give me facts on Pierre-Luc Dubois. No. Watch Winnipeg Sports Talk for that. I'm not getting into... He still plays for the damn Jets, and they're not going to trade him and probably not even re-sign him until the season's over, so please stop talking to me about Pierre-Luc Dubois. That's not what we're going to talk about here. Anyways, I was playing goal one of the last times that I did before my doctor told me that I had to retire. And the guys said to me that I was playing with Drew Haubrick. Do you know him, Clark? Droopy Drew? He goes, Roddy, I love your style. Stand-up goalie, swatting pucks away. That was the way we were taught to do it. The phrase, don't leave your pins. Don't leave your pins. I learned it in the Western Canada Summer Goaltender School. You don't forget that stuff. Stand-up goalie. Google it. Moose will be with us next hour, live from the bunker here on Game Plus and the Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902 Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Some leather-lunged New Yorker. He's cheering for the Panthers, but he's behind me, and he was making all these jokes. He's like, yeah, the Panthers are losing by a hair. You know, I heard these Florida fans are rabid, but this is ridiculous. Anyways, and then security came down. Woo, right from everybody, because the rabbit's not hurting anybody. I was kind of hoping the rabbit would crap all over the kids.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. It's me, the champ. It's hour 2 of the RP show, and what a day. It's all you can do is laugh. All you can do is laugh. We're having a great time with our audience today on Game Plus Television. There's just nothing better than live. Nothing beats live, both good and bad. And I welcome back in from beautiful Prince Edward Island, Canada, Darren Moose Dupont, who I was, Darren, remiss in hour 1 of getting a Canada Winter Games update. And by the way, you look very clear, very sharp out there. PEI's looking good on you. But listen.
Thank you.
John from Winnipeg has written in. He says he's got to run. He says, stay warm, Rod. He's been watching in Winnipeg, can't watch for hour 2. And I'm like,
okay.
I think I told you we are here from IKS Studio. I know this town. Only spent a quarter century living here. So I went and parked in a heated garage, underground garage, just to thaw my vehicle out today, man. Again, those people watching the southern United States, they don't get it, and they ask me how cold it gets. You cannot accurately explain how cold it gets. And it's minus 38 with the wind chill. I don't care whether that's Celsius or Fahrenheit. That's damn cold. Okay?
It's almost the same.
It's almost the same
at that point. The two dials meet at minus 40. And the way I would describe the cold is when you pull up to the drive-thru in the morning to get your coffee, you have to open your door. You have to pull too far forward and open your door because the window won't roll down. It's frozen shut.
Oh, of course. Of course. Vehicles are not meant to run in this. So and I'm telling you, usually it's in the lobby of Orange Theory Fitness. They're like, Rod, tell us. It's like people here. Rod, tell us some rider stories. There, it's like, Rod, how cold does it get in Canada?
Tell us about the North Pole.
That basically is. And I got into my vehicle this morning. The seat is a rock. It's like sitting on a bed of rock.
Yes, it is.
You know, and that's what your tires are. It's flipping horrible. And then beyond that, I got my Bet Regal robe with me. And I'm waiting at some point to bring up the NHL top 5, bottom 5 where I can put it on. But I've been rolling back and forth on the floor in my office chair. The robe's all gummed up in the wheels of the chair. So I'm just like, it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's funny.
Well, Jason in Red Deer says, do you guys really live in igloos? And, oh, man. Obviously, no, but that's the U.S. thing, and we're going way off script here. And actually, I wanted to. There's been so much talk and bunk of NHL trade deadline stuff, and that interview last hour with Ian Mendes was great. Like, I've been around Ian. I thought we worked together at the Score 20 years ago, but that was a long time ago. And he's like, this might be a little over the top. Just like it's every network's trying to outdo each other, every blogger's trying to outdo each other, every insider's trying to outdo each other, and it's just it's fried my brain, you know. So I will just say this about the people in South Florida. When they ask about it here, it's not about igloos, but I often say, "Have you watched Yellowstone?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "It's just like Yellowstone," which, quite frankly, my life is. And they're like, "Really? Are you guys shooting each other up there?" Sometimes, yes. And, yeah, I'm not going to go down that road. I'll tell you later in the break. I don't want to get into too much trouble.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me a Winter Games update while I thaw my brain.
You got it. I mean, we're in day 5. Saskatchewan, I'll give. We have a lot of listeners in Saskatchewan, so I'll give them the Saskatchewan. That's why I'm here. The home province.
Fine. Yeah.
Working with them, up to 5 medals. Just found out our flag bearer Luca Vieman, who's an international flag bearer, one of the top speed skater, one of the top in Canada. Their events just got postponed. The sun is causing problems for the outdoor oval in Halifax. So that's happening. It's a day off for Saskatchewan's hockey team, but I'm going to go down and watch Yukon and Gavin McKenna, the number 1 pick in the Bantam draft by the Medicine Hat Tigers. He's the leading scorer in the tournament. He's great. In 2 games, I think he had 16 points, 6 goals in the 1 game. So I haven't got to watch him live yet. I'm going to do that this afternoon. I'm really looking forward to that. The table tennis has been outstanding. Our hockey boys were over there watching the table tennis this morning. That's right in the hotel in the conference center. That's been a lot of fun. The gymnastics is going well. So week 1 is rolling here in Halifax.
I'm glad to hear that. I did a little Google search this morning. I was looking for a photo of the Canada Winter Games, and thank you, saltwire.com, for providing the ringette photo that I posted to rodpeterson.com today. But my point is this. We're a talk show, and we have to just slow things down. I thought last hour went really well. It was exactly what I want it to be. I need people to back off because they're like, what about the Scotties? What about the this? What about the that? I don't care about the Scotties. I don't. We're not Sports Center, okay? So for the breaking news today that McLeod Bethel Thompson has signed with the USFL's New Orleans Breakers, that's a pretty big deal. We analyzed that with Wes Cates, and we got into the heart of the matter that he's from Columbus, Ohio, where we have many viewers and listeners on Buckeye Cable. They carry Game Plus. Mo Egger in Cincinnati has sent me a photo of his television in his living room. He's like, what the? I'll be damned. You're on my cable TV. Yep. That's in Cincinnati. But anyways, do you know who we found that's famous? Were you watching earlier with Wes? Do you see who's famous from Columbus, Ohio?
I wasn't.
Okay. This is going to blow your mind. Okay. You're sitting down. I said, Wes Cates, second all-time leading rusher in Saskatchewan Roughriders history, Grey Cup champion. I said, who else famous is from Columbus, Ohio? And he said, Buster Douglas, who, by the way, is famous, the fighter Buster Douglas. I Googled it. Beverly D'Angelo's from Columbus, Ohio. Ellen Griswold from the National Lampoon's Vacation Series. I'm like, yeah, but forget about the rest of all you. Ellen Griswold. Sparky. And then our guy, Glenn in Medicine Hat, said Jack Nicklaus is from there, the Golden Bear. So how about
he's
that?
Pretty good.
Yeah. It's a coffee sports talk show.
Clark, slow down.
I know, right? The greatest. The greatest. I love that they had her in every one of the movies because they rotated out the kids all the time, right?
Yeah.
Rusty. So, anyways, Ryan is watching in Manitoba. Ryan Schultz, he said, Val Marie, Saskatchewan is the spitting image of Yellowstone. And there's a lot of areas that are, but that's, again, what I say to the people in South Florida, because it's so different from there. You look at all my photos, and when we're doing the show from South Florida, it's a postcard every flipping day. Every day. I'm like, I can't believe that I live here. Every day. But then you look at Yellowstone, that's pretty cool too, but it couldn't be more different in landscape. You know what I mean? It's hard to believe that it's the same continent. Anyways, back on point, because it is a sports talk show, Darren. I asked this. We got it rolling with Ian Mendes last hour from The Athletic. I got to tell you, you can subscribe to The Athletic for only $1 a month if you're a new subscriber, and it's probably worth it because sports journalism is going the way of the dodo. That's not a topic that we'll get into here now. But Eric Duhatschek is a Hall of Fame writer, covered the Calgary Flames for years, and he's got a great article there today on The Athletic that says, listen, you can talk about which teams are going to be the most active at the trade deadline in terms of sellers, but here's why what you're hearing's wrong. He's like, Jonathan Toews probably won't move because of his health situation now with the COVID. Patrick Kane, one of our good friends, put the list up. Patrick Kane would like to go to Edmonton, Vegas, or Dallas. Duhatschek's like, no, it's in his contract. The only place he'll go is the Rangers. He wants to play with Artemi Panarin. You know, so saying all of that, and my other thing is Timo Meier, Erik Karlsson are both on contracts of $10 and $11.5 million. Tell me again how Doug Wilson got into the Hockey Hall of Fame handing out contracts like that, and now they're trying to get rid of them? Whatever.
I know.
But is it too early? I want to ask the viewers and listeners who you think will be in the Stanley Cup final. Because clearly, I said Calgary, Florida going into the year, and that was my heart ahead of my head, which I always succumb to my heart over my head. That's just me. That's why people watch the show. But I might be wrong. Ian Mendes said Carolina, Winnipeg.
Ooh.
And by the way, I don't think today there's no wrong answers. Nobody's going to remember all this. Who will it be? Is this the year that the Canadian drought for the Stanley Cup ends? It's the 30-year anniversary. It would be a very telling, great year to end it. I might spend some time thinking about this. And I don't want to, I guess I'm throwing you a curve, but.
No.
Who do you think it could be?
I'm going to go with my preseason prediction, I think, is the same. And I think it was Colorado, Carolina.
Yeah.
I think the Avs, they're going to get in, or they're going to be close to they should get in. And if they get in with the group they have and the experience, I could see them pulling a Tampa Bay, getting right back to the final. So, and I like Carolina a lot.
I'm sorry. And when you said that, I remember singing it. Heads, Colorado, tails, Carolina, or something like that. Colorado, Carolina.
Yeah.
I get it. It's Heads, Carolina, tails, California is the song, Jody Messina. But
Jason in Red Deer says, my pick for the Stanley Cup final, rematch of 2006, Canes versus Oilers. And the Oilers lose again. But he's a Flames fan.
Oh, no.
Very interesting, Zach in Calgary, a Flames fan who, incidentally, I've hung out with at Flames games. He says, I hope to see Toronto, but I think it's Winnipeg Rangers.
Spicy.
Nobody's saying Boston.
Now, hang on. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says Boston feels unstoppable, don't they? From Swerve in Calgary, he says Boston against anyone. And that's the thing. We have our top 5, bottom 5 coming up. Trust me, if I get my robe unrolled from the bottom of my chair here, they are number 1 in goals for. They are number 1 in goals against. They're so far away, number 1. They're tied for the best start in NHL history by any team, the Boston Bruins. And it's just odd that the game that I saw them play live in Florida, they set an NHL record by giving up a game and losing it in a 27-second span.
Yeah.
So it tells me, though, that they can be beaten. That's what that tells me.
Yeah. And that's what happens in the playoffs. You never know. So I wouldn't, anybody can get in. There's so many good teams. But, Boston, I mean, on paper, who else would you put ahead of Boston right now? I'm sticking with what I had, but you can't. No, you can't.
Wonderful discussion with John Paddock yesterday, however, the head coach and general manager of God's team, saying the East beats up on each other. That Toronto-Tampa Bay series last year was take no prisoners.
Yes.
So wouldn't it be nice to go into a Stanley Cup playoff while you're doing your pool or dropping some change down at Bet Regal when you knew for a fact what's going to happen? You just don't. And this is funny, by the way. Jason in Red Deer writes back and says, I'm an unbiased Flames fan, though, Rod. I am more of a hockey fan, LOL. That's hilarious because it actually makes sense. Like Kevin the Medium, I was in his living room watching the BC Lions playing the Calgary Stampeders in the playoffs last year, and I was like, we both know Kevin. You've met Kevin. He's come down to Grey Eagle. I'm like, I thought we could sit and have a rational football discussion here while watching this game. He's going crazy. He's got pom-poms. He's jumping up and down, frothing at the mouth. I'm like, you're an irrational fan. I can't talk to you about the game. You've lost your mind. Oh. And he fully admitted it. But here's Jason. He's like, yeah, I am. He still refers to himself as an irrational fan. Here's Jason in Red Deer going, I'm a Flames fan, but I can be convinced otherwise. That's the funniest thing I've heard all week.
But it's so great about sports. Like, I can sit here and be pretty level-headed about everything. But when my team's playing, when I'm watching a Titans game or I'm right into a Leafs game, everything I say doesn't make sense. Everything is the worst or the best. Yeah.
That makes sense, too. That makes sense, too. I don't know. Were you sitting with me in the Four Seasons Sports Palace when the Regina Pats were in the league final and we were watching the game on television? Were you with me?
No, I wasn't.
Because there was a fight over what to put on the big screen in the Four Seasons. Some guys wanted NHL, and I went there specifically to watch the WHL final. And the reason I bring that up was it's the only time in my life that I've sworn on social media. It was the only time. I was so mad at the Pats, my own team, and then I deleted it because whomever I was sitting with was, you can't say that. You can't swear on social media. I deleted it, and of course, people had screenshotted it and held it against me. The point is the Pats are the only team, the Regina Pats are the only team that get me so emotionally worked up that I would swear on social media. And there's the interesting thing that we've learned there. Rich in Edmonton, staunch Oilers and Elks fan, says, I curse and swear, wife and daughter leave the room soon after. I'm not sitting here holier than thou than anybody. I get it. But I can have a rational conversation with anybody when anybody else is playing, but not the Regina Pats in a league final. We'll be back, and we'll do the NHL top 5, bottom 5. Tell the boys if you're ready for bad beats as well. Sammy Cosentino coming up from Rogers Sportsnet. We're live on Game Plus TV, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, the exclusive betting partner of the RP show is Bet Regal, and I found it, Moose. I got it ready to roll. We're talking bad beats. It's that time of week for our exclusive betting partner in Sportsbook, Bet Regal. And again, because it's a new feature, before you get into your bad beat of the week, can you tell the folks what it is?
Yeah, it is when you have a win in betting right within your grasp, and at the last second, something unforeseen happens and pulls victory right out of your hands. That's a bad beat. You thought you've had it won, and just like the goal last night, thought he had his first career goal, pulled away.
Adam
That's
Beckman.
That's what
a bad
it is?
beat.
Oh, no
That's
kidding.
a
That would
bad
have been a
beat.
wonderful prop bet, too. Who scores their first NHL goal tonight? Adam Beckman. That is a wonderful bad beat. Adam Beckman, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan kid, former Spokane Chief, has his first NHL goal taken off the board because of an offside review by former Blade Todd McClellan. You put me in a bad mood. That's a wonderful bad beat, Moose. Way to go. Nice
That's
work.
a bad beat.
All
But
right.
The two I had prepared, though, if I can go quick, were ones. It's starting to come back out of the Super Bowl now, right? On who lost the most money. It was people who had Jerick McKinnon scoring a touchdown, an anytime touchdown, and he slid down at the 1 yard line to run out the clock. And the other one was probably worse. It was Kenneth Gainwell to score the first touchdown of the game. The odds were so great. It was plus 1,600. People had huge wins. And a holding call pulled it back at the beginning of the game, and he didn't score the touchdown. So those were the couple that are spilling out now.
Some wonderful bad beats from our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. As you see, I got the rope working, and it's warm. You're going to see me walking down Victoria Avenue in this baby. People are going to be going, hey, they're going to go, that's the Burger King. That's what they're going to be saying. This thing is warm, and it's full length. Okay, it's time for the weekly NHL Top 5, Bottom 5 for our friends at Bet Regal. Are you ready, Moose? Are you ready to go? Top 5 for the National Hockey League? All right, number one team in the National Hockey League. It's uncontested. It's the Boston Bruins. They are rolling. Scored the most, allowed the least. Could be the best team ever. They're a wagon. The Boston Bruins. Number 2, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And by the way, I agonized on my top 5, so I hope people appreciate the work I put into it, and I hope they agree. They're rolling. They're rolling, too, with Ryan O'Reilly. A hattie last night. Plan the parade. Toronto, officially you can. Number 3 is the Carolina Hurricanes. For whatever reason, I'm not sold yet, but they've won 4 in a row. Carolina, number 3. Number 4, the Winnipeg Jets. As far as I'm concerned, they're the best team in the NHL's Western Conference, and that may be all you need as the East beats up on each other in the playoffs. And number 5, the New Jersey Devils. No matter what, they're the comeback team of the year, and general manager Tom Fitzgerald is the general manager of the year in the National Hockey League. Bottom 5, let's go fast. Number 28, the Vancouver Canucks. Not much to look forward to in Vancouver, I'm sorry. Number 29, the Chicago Blackhawks. Stop winning. They've won 3 in a row. Number 30, the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks should be tanking, and soon they will be with these trades. At least they better. Number 31, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Again, they should be better, but here we are. And the worst team in the NHL. Bravo, the Anaheim Ducks. They've lost 6 in a row. Their last place overall. They're finally doing something right. Losing. That's the top 5, bottom 5 of the National Hockey League. I'm telling you, I agonized over it. Agree or disagree?
I bet. I don't have a lot of, to disagree on. Arizona, you want to save hockey in the desert. You've got points in 9 of 10. 5 of those are wins. You've got to stop getting points. Same with Chicago, who have won 3 in a row. But in your top 5, I don't have a lot of argument there. The Lightning are right there, 6-2-2 in their last 10. The Rangers, 7-1-2. But a great top 5, bottom 5.
I'm not done yet with asking for the Stanley Cup final predictions. Again, Moose has gone with Carolina, Colorado, and I'm actually very impressed with the fact that you are not changing it. Way to go, Moose.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've completely scrapped mine. Calgary, Florida. And I'm not sure right now as we sit here today that I'm willing to come up with another 2 just yet. From Janet, the Four Seasons, she says, it doesn't matter which one of my favorite teams are playing. I yell and curse. My kids leave the room as soon as it's turned on because they know. Allie in Texarkana says, Bedard to the Ducks. That would be okay. It was interesting if you saw the interview with the voice of the Pats yesterday here, Dante DeCarry. I feel like he's going to be in a glass case of emotion when the season ends and Connor Bedard leaves. Trust me, I've been there. I can sit here. Everybody's talking about what they know and what they think they know, trade deadline, and I'd rather just sit here and tell stories. Like I remember when I was Dante's age, early 20s, voice of a team.
when we lost out with the Regina Pats when I was working for them, voice of the team to the Prince Albert Raiders in Game 7, Eastern semifinal, I couldn't come into work the next day. I was that upset. I got a call from, I wasn't out partying year-end stuff, not at all. That came a few days later. I was the same age as the players, for God's sakes. But my boss, Jeff Courier, is like, where the hell are you? I'm like, we lost last night. I'm collecting myself. He's like, get your ass in here. You got to work. That's what I realized. Oh, no time for pouting.
That's right.
Have times changed? Because that's the way it was back then.
Right. It was get back to work. You lost. You got to leave that at the rink. You're not part of the team, right? I mean, there's all of that, but I get it. When your team loses like that sits with you for a few days. For sure.
Yes. Well, back then it did. Now I'm like, move on. And I'm sitting here literally going, okay, let me check the big board. It is currently, Moose, just so you know, minus 26. It's warming up, man. I'll be busting out sunscreen with the wind chill minus 36. And as we said earlier, Fahrenheit, Celsius, it don't matter. It's damn cold. But I'm like, if that's the biggest problems in my life, it's good. I'll be fine. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says, I can't watch a Rough Riders game at a pub. My friends try to invite me out all the time, and I constantly turn them down because I'm pacing around a pub and swearing is reserved for my own home. I'm not sure there's any right or wrong way to watch sports. The reason, if anybody just tuned this in, is, can you watch your team around your friends? You are a Tennessee Titans fan. You, Darren, will not really watch a Titans game with anybody else. Correct?
No, at home, on my couch, usually by myself. Leanne will watch, but yeah, I don't want to watch the game with anybody else. And I've struggled with that too. I've thought, what if the Leafs make the final? Like, the Toronto Maple Leafs, if they made it to a Stanley Cup, where would I want to be? And I'd probably want to be at home, watching it by myself, if I'm being honest.
I'm loving the comments from the audience today. This is what I wanted. Coffee talk, sports talk, and not like anything else you're ever going to see anywhere. I'm wearing a robe, for God's sakes. Who does that?
I was just thinking that.
Well, I was watching a show this morning, I don't mind saying, out of Vegas, a television sports show, and it was live. And I'm like, there's nothing like this. There's a sizzle to live. Anybody can write in anytime and get to me or you. 902-518-3033. There's a vibe to it, a palpable vibe.
Yeah.
From Craig, our director of scouting, who will be in here on Friday, Craig Smith. He says, I'm glad people don't hear me during a Jets game. Regarding your team losing, Ali in Texarkana says, it can sting for days. Yes, only if you let it. Talk to me and my colleague Rand Teed about that. Stephen in North Dakota has just jogged me back onto this zany road that we've been on here today. He goes, where is it? Stephen in North Dakota. Great time to barbecue. There's no mosquitoes. Back to the Yellowstone thing, Darren. For those that say this part of the world's like Yellowstone, and that's what I tell my Florida friends, it's Yellowstone. If you want to know where I'm from, it's Yellowstone. So you'll like this. I'm talking to my brother this morning on the phone, the cowboy, and we have to go in and negotiate a land deal, the two of us, and we're doing it tomorrow night. So I'm glad I'm here for this. And I was bitching and whining about how cold it is. And he's like, yeah, well, at least it's not blowing snow. I started laughing. I'm like, well, there is that. We have visibility. I don't know whether our vehicle's going to start or not, driving down the road, but at least I can see. And then with the land deal, and then with the land deal, which is, and I don't mind saying, but I think the people that we're doing the land deal with probably watching right now, but my brother goes, let me do all the talking. And I said, be my guest.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that deal around a card table in a shop And it's not going to be a handshake deal. It'll be a contract. But yeah, let me do all the talking.
I got
Perfect.
this.
I don't want to anyways. Tonight, 3 games of the National Hockey League. Winnipeg Jets at the New York Islanders, Calgary Flames at the Arizona Coyotes, and Chicago at Dallas. Let me say this. The Flames are in a battle for their lives. They almost can't lose another game. And I'm you want to talk about games of the night. Jets at the Islanders, yes. But I feel like the Jets are fine-tuning. They could add a little here or there, but they're going to be in the playoffs. Calgary's hair is on fire. And what about the Leafs? Where are you guys? You've added Ryan O'Reilly. You're just like literally, you're in that fine-tuning stage too.
Yeah, they're tinkering, and playing with cap space. You talked about the Erik Karlssons and the $10 million. I don't remember. Clark would have to jog my memory on what the cap hit was for Ryan O'Reilly in St. Louis. But you spend a little draft pick, you give it to Bill Guerin, a $7.5 million player. So you give a little draft pick to Bill Guerin in Minnesota and say, Bill, for this draft pick, you're going to have Ryan O'Reilly for about 30 seconds on your roster, and you're going to take a quarter of his salary when you trade him back, retain it. And so you'll need some trading partners to come on board if Edmonton wants an Erik Karlsson or if Toronto does or somebody else, right? There's going to be some tinkering happening. In Calgary with the hair on fire, I don't think they know what they're missing,
No.
Because I look at the roster, I'm like, they got Huberdeau, they got Kadri, they got Coleman. They got a lot of great pieces. Obviously goaltending's not up to par, but maybe you're trading for a goaltender to try and stopgap this and get into the playoffs. But I don't think they really know what they're missing because they just have underperformed. That's a really hard spot to be in.
It's a terrible spot to be in. And I'm hoping by the time we get to Calgary, which will be March 13th, we begin at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, that the Flames are still in it. And I'm hoping for a playoff drive. But overtime, if you come back for that, maybe I'll have my Stanley Cup final pick. But I've scrapped Calgary, Florida. And by the way, for the gentleman that said that he was going to the Saddle Dump, his word, not mine, this weekend, the Flames are on the road, so I have no idea what he's talking about. He said
when he
this
said
weekend.
That trip was off to a bad start, he's going to be really disappointed when he gets there and there's no game.
Yeah. Where is everybody? We got some good stuff coming in here now. Jason in Red Deer says we're missing good, consistent goaltending. And that's a fact. Listen, I could sit here and we could be Calgary Flames television every day. We got to run here, but I saw, with the loss 4-3 to the Flyers the other night, and the analysts are saying, break down defensive play here and there. I'm not putting this on Markstrom. Yep. No, you're not. But Hellebuck's making 50 saves, in the game it was in New York, was it not? They played back-to-back. Hellebuck made 50 saves and they won. That's what they need Jacob Markstrom to do, and they're paying him to do it. Anyways, Moose, this has been fun. We'll see you in overtime.
Later.
Our good friend Sammy Cosentino joins us next from Rogers Sportsnet and NHL Network. It's the RP Show live on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, iHeartRadio, and WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
The RP show continues, and we're having a great day talking sports. A lot of NHL, CHL, CFL, XFL. We brushed on the Blue Jays earlier, and I want to get to that with our next guy in a minute. Sam Cosentino joins us from Rogers Sportsnet, but also the NHL Network, as I've been watching him from down there. It's obviously cold where you are, Sammy. What's with the lid, man? Are we promoting something today?
You know what? Hockey Gives Blood. I do a lot of work with them and their ambassadors, and it's just a way to raise awareness to donate blood. It's super important. Super important. You can save a life. It's pretty simple to do, and so I'm part of that program. So supporting that, and my buddy Anthony Stewart, Hockey Equality, wearing his sweatshirt here today, but. You know what? More or less just chilling and getting ready for tonight. So I'm in sweats mode right now, but also nice to get the word out there about a couple of cool causes. You know.
Yay! Listen, man, you're the busiest guy going, and I saw you did an Instagram live with Carson Bjarnason, the Wheat Kings goalie, last night, the pride of Carberry, Manitoba. He's a good one, Sammy. What did he have to say on the Instagram live last night?
Fascinating young man. He's really thoughtful. He's pensive. His answers aren't run-of-the-mill stuff that you might get from athletes generally. And kind of cool. He's got a musical background on his mom's side that he's sort of taken a liking to, and it's been part of his escape to get away from hockey when times are difficult for him. And you know what? When you're dealing with school, you're dealing with some travel, you're dealing with a hockey club that's right on the precipice of getting in the playoffs. And then you're dealing with your draft year. It's a lot of stuff for a young man to handle. So to have those escapes, Roddy, is pretty important. And Carson's found that in music, which is kind of cool.
Good for you, man. And as you know, junior hockey players are historically the worst interviews, but also the best interviews. And I interviewed Carson live after a game on television. We were doing the game, and I said, what's it like facing Bedard? And he's like, oh, yeah, we gear up to stop him. I want to stop him. You know what I mean? And he admitted it. And I'm glad he admitted it. But nobody stopped Bedard. 105 points, Sam. Wow.
It's funny, Roddy, because I asked him the same question. Regina and Brandon, they get to play each other quite a bit throughout the course of the year. And he said to this point that Connor had not gotten them, which surprised me a little bit. But Connor did make mention that in their 14 games left, I think there's a meeting or two in there that his time's coming. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, getting back to Bedard, you know what I'd really want for Connor Bedard, Roddy? I want Connor Bedard to go a goal per game in his junior career. He's 3 or 4 behind that pace right now. I think he's 114 and 118, something like that. That would be cool. And it's not out of the question that he could do it. That would say he'd need, 14 games left roughly. They need 17, 18 goals. Not really a problem for him. For everyone else in the world, maybe, but not for him.
It shouldn't be a problem for him at all. What do you think he'll have points per game in his rookie year in the NHL? And before you answer that, I looked up. Sid the Kid had 100 in his first season, and McDavid was a lockout shortened year. He had 48 points in 45 games, so they were both over a point. What do you think Bedard will do?
I don't think he'll be a point per game guy. I mean, I'm anticipating an 82-game season, and I'm anticipating somewhere in the 50 to 60-point range for Connor. And I think, you're going to find a fair amount of that on the power play. Having said that, Roddy, he's one of those guys that is really good on his own right now. Typically, I use this analogy for defensemen. That simple kind of defenseman that you may not value in junior hockey because he's not a huge point producer, ends up being a better player when he goes to play with smarter, better players in the National Hockey League. And I think about Travis Sanheim, bad example. I think he was scratched a night or two ago, but he's that sort of guy for me. Typically, we don't use that terminology with forwards. And so when I'm looking at Connor Bedard, he's awesome on his own, either creating or scoring. I think he's exponentially better when he gets to do that on a regular basis with top 6 NHLers. So, maybe my 50 or 60 points might end up being low. Of course, health is going to play a part in it. And what team he goes to is going to play a part in it as well. So,
bingo.
Right now, though, just all things kind of being equal, I'd say a 50 to 60-point season is in the realm.
Yeah, a lot of it will have to do with where he goes for sure. Hey, just a fun one. Who do you think will be in the Stanley Cup final? We won't hold you to it, but earlier on today here, Ian Mendes said Carolina, Winnipeg. How about you?
I think at the start of the year I had Edmonton and the Rangers. And for me, I'm kind of sticking with that right now. I mean, Edmonton, I think, needs a little work on D. I think Ken Holland he's looking at all the options, and there are some pieces available for him out there to get that done. There are a lot of pieces, and I don't think they need a major guy. I mean, Carlson would be the dream. Chikrin would be a nice option, but probably doesn't fit. But then you get down into the Gavrikovs, the McCabe's. There are some guys out there, the Shens of the world. Maybe one of the David Savards or Joel Edmondson, if he's healthy in Montreal, one of those guys. So I think those options are going to be available to Ken. I mean, Campbell's going to have to, he's going to have to bear down here and do in the playoffs what he hasn't done previously. But I like Stuart Skinner in the backup role, and of course their forward group is really good. So I'm going to stick with that for now. Edmonton, I had winning the Cup against the Rangers in the final, and I'm going to stick with that.
Sammy, we got 4 minutes left. As we get older, I realize people don't realize what we did years and years and years ago. And guess what? They don't care. But I care. You were the voice of the Expos. Right? I care. Right? But they don't know what we did before. You were the voice of the Expos on Score. It was awesome, man. And you started in the Blue Jays organization. We all know that. The reason I bring that up is you love baseball. Jays' first grapefruit game Saturday. How excited are you, man, for the Jays this year?
Well, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for it. There's lots of work for me to be done here, in our NHL package and whatnot, and a little bit with the NHL Network, as you mentioned. So that's obviously the main focus, but it should be a fun year. I'm excited for the renovations at the Rogers Center. June 5th, 89 was the opening game there. It was against Milwaukee. They had to stop the game and close the roof midway through because they didn't realize how long it was going to take to close it. I was a bat boy then, so I've seen that place grow up. So for me, what's going to be really cool is to see the renovations, see them completed and see what the new ballpark looks like. I think it's going to be more ballparky, and I think that was what they're trying to achieve. And of course, the team on the field, they got some guys locked up, made a couple of moves, but really excited to see if Barrios can come back and be the guy that, everyone expected him to be. Then I don't really see any weaknesses with their club.
What about, is this just a stopgap? There was the plan to build an outdoor stadium in west part of downtown, was there not, or is that not happening?
No, I think that's all done. I think what's happened is over the course of the beginning of that conversation to now, I know Woodbine Racetrack was going to be a place where that was going to happen, but with some of the rules changing and the casino and so on, I think they're in a full-blown build mode there right now to build, a much larger casino and hotel complex there,
yes,
surrounding the racetrack and that sort of thing. So, to be honest with you, Roddy, like it's $300 million. It's a lot of money. With what they're doing there. And I know some of the people on the construction side of things, they're really excited about what it's going to be. I know that, I used to talk to a lot of people that sat in those seats right behind home plate there. I think they're trying to work on some sort of club or steakhouse kind of feel that the Toronto Maple Leafs have, where you can go back. Because from those seats right now, you have to enter from the top, basically 35 rows up to walk down into those seats. And those people are paying a lot of money. So you'd want maybe a little bit different access area and an area where some of those people can kind of get together and have a nice, high-end meal and be able to be a bit more of a revenue generator for the club at that point.
Well, it's funny because I saw your boy McAuliffe talking about these renos the day they were unveiled, and I'm like, Tim, they're renos, calm down. But I'm like, it's the Blue Jays, man. It's Rogers Center. I get it. If it was here, I would be just as excited. I'm like, you boys are fired up about the renos, man. But the team's going to be even better. We got less than a minute. Can you watch the Jays not critically? Can you watch them as a fan or no?
Well, I mean, it's difficult. And honestly, the biggest thing for me is that I think we've lost some of that Canadian touch from a management perspective. Of course, Rogers, the owner, you're not going to find a better Canadian company than that. But from a president manager type of situation, I grew up when it was Gordash or Alex Anthopoulos. Those guys were all around in prominent roles for a long period of time. And at the very least, we always, as an organization, had Paul Beeston there. So that element is missing, and that kind of takes a bit of the shine off of the Blue Jays for me. But from, simple on-field, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's something I can do with my kids, and they enjoy going to the game. So that part for me has increased, and the part about feeling for the club with less Canadian content, has taken a bit of the shine off.
Sammy, the old man, taking his kids to the ballpark. Hey, look how far we've come, Sam. Who would have thought it? All right. Well, I'll be watching tonight, Sam. Thanks for the time.
Okay, buddy. Good to see you. Take care.
Thanks for coming on. Sam Cosentino from Rogers Sportsnet. Moose will be back for OT right after this. And a sports update if we have time. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, 902-518-3033, the number to reach us. We're also on iHeartRadio, live streaming on YouTube and WQEE The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. Just found out we got no Moose with us. And you know what? That's fine. Because I got so many messages here. Folks, you really should text the show now because we're at a point where we're close to being too many to read. But we were talking a lot about the cold. Devin Pakailo is in BC. It's near the bottom of the screen. I can't get to it. He's just pointing out Devin Pakailo's in Burns Lake, BC. Minus 21 there. Minus 28 with the wind chill. He said, stay warm over there from Devin. I wish I could open it, but it's hard to explain. Brad in Calgary says it's going to be plus 3 this Sunday. There's an optimist. Guys, Dougal Cameron in Calgary has written in 902 line, and he says, which of Stu Hart's ex-Stampede Wrestling wrestlers did you buy that robe from? Or did the Silver Fox lend you his? Inquiring minds want to know. People watching now or listening now are saying, what robe? Can you put it on the full screen of the full bunker, guys? The robe is right there. I took it off. And that sucker is warm. You would think it's sheer. It ain't. It's like a satiny flannel, something we didn't even know existed. Randy is in Strasbourg, Sask. Back on point with who will be in the Stanley Cup final. Randy says, I really hate to say this, but Boston and Dallas in the Stanley Cup final. Goaltending will be the difference. My 2 cents. From my guy Barry, he used to be the manager, attendant of Taylor Field, Canada's football shrine, as I used to say on the radio, 447 some odd times. Barry has sent in photos, and again, I got to get this figured out. Photos of his ice fishing shack where I don't know anything about ice fishing. Another reason where I think I fit in probably better in South Florida. It's a winter Saskatchewan thing to do, and I've never done it, and I have no interest in doing it.
but he has forgotten to turn his heater on in the bucket, I guess, so his fish froze. I guess that's the one thing, because I've had people come up to me at the hockey game the other night, and I will be at the hockey game tonight, the Regina Pats and Medicine Hat Tigers. And by the way, for the Medicine Hat people, you can either tune in or you'll know to avoid. I will be on the broadcast tonight with Gino DePaoli, the voice of the Medicine Hat Tigers. But people are coming up to me going, I see you in Florida when it's cold here, and I'm... Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. But at least for this period of February, I'm here with you, freezing away right with you. If that makes you feel better. Kirk writes in and says, Edmonton Oilers versus Toronto Maple Leafs. I kind of feel like that's too much to ask for, but maybe it's good to just put it out into the universe. Because I remember a guy that used to advertise on rodpedersen.com, our website. His name's Corey from Weyburn. You longtime Rider fans know him. He wrote me the morning of the infamous Saskatchewan Roughriders at Calgary Stampeders game where Duron Carter was going to start on the corner going up against Bo Levi. That morning, Corey texted me and said, wouldn't it be something if Duron picked off Bo Levi and returned it to the house? And I'm like, stop, it's never going to happen. I'm like, we just need the win. And danged if it didn't happen. Just the way he said it. Which, interestingly enough, that's the second time that came up today because Wes Cates wanted to know what's the deal between me and Bo Levi, and I had to tell him. That specific play, Bo Levi has not spoken to me since. Thank you, Ryan O'Radio. He says, another great RP show. Appreciate you. On your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE. I feel like all these people listening down there can appreciate the fact that you can go outside without dying. Because that's what it's like in the Great White North right now. And I think a lot of people are just loving the fact that I've gotten so soft, and I make no apologies for it. Swerve in Calgary writes in, he says, truckers drive across lakes and rivers in northern Manitoba. Thanks for the update. Last minute of play in the RP show today. Swerve in Calgary says, the Memorial Cup should be a WHL and QMJHL final by the looks of it. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Rick Campbell, BC Lions head coach, said this once, and I never forgot it. If you look too far down the road, you're going to trip over what you're walking on right now. And enjoy Seattle's won 8 in a row. Kamloops is on a heater. Just getting out of the West Conference is going to be great hockey. Tremendous hockey. Tonight we've got the Pats and the Tigers. We'll talk about it tomorrow. 3 NHL games. How do the Flames do in Arizona? So much to get to. Enjoy the games. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody, right here on Game Plus Television, iHeartRadio, YouTube Live, and, of course, your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, the key. Who has more fun than us?
Hot damn! Let's go! Sold! Beautiful. Bob's your uncle. Oh, good one, Rod.